This video is sponsored by the NSA-hating, censorship-despising guys over at Virtual Shield VPN. I use them for 3 simple reasons. They hide my activity and my location while I'm online, and they don't slow my internet speed. Period. Click on the link below for 20% off and a free 30-day trial. You've got nothing to lose and your anonymity to gain. Virtual Shield believes you have the right to remain private. Historically speaking, if you could scrape away all the confusing and conflicting information, it's not the evil people in the world who have been a major catalyst for destruction, mayhem, loss of individual freedoms, hyperinflation, wars, suffocating regulations, overwhelming debt, and a meteoric rise in crime. It's the otherwise good people who, for whatever reason, remain ignorant, passive, silent, and indifferent to what's going on around them. A recurring reality in life is that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. But it kind of makes you question if those supposed good people were really good in the first place. Doesn't the word good kind of imply a genuine moral high ground? A particular action? An unparalleled standard where the possessor of that goodness just automatically rises against evil? If not for his own sake and self-preservation, certainly for those he loves and cares about. Words do have meaning, don't they? Have we been so thoroughly caught in the vortex of this current multicultural anything-goes concoction of immorality that in order to make ourselves feel better, we have to alter reality and change definitions to fit our own selfish or collectivist agendas? Shouldn't authentic goodness be the guiding principle of life? But good does have a particular meaning, and those who are good, the ones who actually possess goodness, perform those actions that are consistent with being a good person. Otherwise, the term good person has no meaning. It's sort of like a person who tells you that they love you, but never demonstrates that love in any meaningful, outward, or genuine way. Who would you rather have in your life? Someone who consistently tells you that they love you without showing it, or someone who, by their actions, continually demonstrates that love? Besides, if you really are a good person, wouldn't the goodness within you automatically shine forth and be evident to everybody anyway? There would be no hiding it, would there? There would be no need to conjure up a goodness that's not there to make people believe you're something you're not. If you are good, you'll be good. It's as simple as that. And good people do not allow evil people to destroy and plunder others. It's not in their nature to allow that. Good people stand up in the face of tyranny. Doesn't mean they're fearless. It just means that in spite of any present fear, their internal goodness overrides fear and does what is right. They don't conform to the evil around them. They raise the standard of morality. Conformity is doing what you're told or what the crowd is doing, no matter what is right. But morality, it's doing what is right, regardless what you're told. Doesn't mean they're perfect or couldn't get hoodwinked by the many voices out there that intend to deceive. It just means that the goodness within them will kick in and bring them back to the basic moral standard that every normal person knows to be right. And what's that standard? That it's never right for an individual or group of individuals to harm or initiate force on another person who hasn't harmed or threatened to harm someone else. Life is just that simple. And no, this doesn't mean that a good person will never harm another person. It means that they will, in the spirit of self-defense and the defense of others, use force when it's right to use force. And it seems counterintuitive, but this righteous use of force is predicated on both love and hate. Hatred for the injustice being done, but love for the person who is currently being or has been the victim of injustice. But a truly good person would never initiate harm on someone who did nothing to deserve that harm. At the same time, they would never stand back and let the illegitimate use of force be used on someone else. Like this white guy who saw the injustice these cops were inflicting on his black brother. He put his life on the line and interceded with righteous force. If we had more of this in society, we would have a changed society with agents of morality everywhere. If you wouldn't want someone to hurt you and take your stuff, then you simply don't hurt others or take their stuff. And if there's a person or group of people out there initiating force on and harming others in any way, physically, monetarily, whatever, then the goodness within each individual would see that as intolerable and something that must be stopped. A society degrades when immorality remains unchallenged, and it especially degrades when immorality is accepted as the norm. Don't steal from others and don't hurt others. We learned this when we were children, and if we didn't, surely we know it by now. And yet, we seem to think it's okay if, under the cloak of government or authority, an individual or group of individuals calling themselves officials can legitimately and morally write arbitrary commands they like to call laws on fancy pieces of paper and force compliance by the barrel of a gun through agents called enforcers. Really think about this. If I and a large group of my friends got together calling ourselves the authority, and we wrote down our commands on a fancy piece of paper saying something like, "We are entitled to 25% of all of your stuff," and we all signed that fancy piece of paper with fabulous looking signatures and handed it to you, demanding that you give us 25% of your stuff, because if you didn't, we'd put a gun to your head and throw you in a cage, you would immediately see the preposterous lunacy and immorality of such a demand and rise up against it. Yet when government agencies like the illegitimate organization called the IRS does the exact same thing with their fancy edicts, we all fall in line like good little obedient school children and just write it off as a necessary part of our life experience. And by our silence and ignorance of what's really going on, we consent to abject immorality. Isn't it time that we as individuals woke up, found that goodness within us, started to band together, and resisted the tyranny that we've accepted for so long? Guys, I don't have all the answers, but you and I both know what morality and goodness looks like. And it's high time that we put our heads and our hearts together and figured out a way to get back to that which is good and right. Dictators and tyrants litter the landscape of our history, a history that was written by those same tyrannical leaders who were victorious. But tyrants and dictators, as powerful as they seem, are only as powerful as the lies we allow ourselves to believe about them. Leave your thoughts for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with others. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and notification button and you'll be alerted when I upload new videos. Today's featured shirts are "Protecting and Serving the Crap Out of You," "Taxation is Legalized Theft," and "Critical Thinking in Progress. Please stand by." Your $5 off promo code is in a link in the description for you for every shirt in the store. And don't forget to leave your thoughts for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.
The last word of what High Impact Flicks said right there is 100% spot on, correct. Okay, and I think most of you know he's correct, without a doubt. You know he's correct. And he's right. But you know, I'm going to address this topic because this topic, you see the name I gave the video, came up on last night's show. Okay, and the person typed it in there. And that is one of the biggest problems we have. And it is one of the reasons so many people won't do anything. And they'll keep just sitting back and doing nothing. Because they're scared. That's right, because they're scared. Afraid of getting hurt. Afraid of getting locked up. Going to jail. Or afraid of possibly dying. Well, let me tell you something. If you do nothing, you're certainly going to die. You may think you're not, but you are. If you do nothing, these concentration camps that all you people are turning your back to thinking it's just a conspiracy theory, you'll find out the conspiracy theory is quite real when you find yourself sitting in one as they replay history. So turning your back isn't the answer. It's the reason evil keeps winning. Staying divided allows evil to win. Turning your back allows evil to win. If you claim you're a good person, as he said, then show it. Because a good person isn't going to just sit back and let tyranny happen in front of them to other people because, oh, well, they don't care because it's all about themselves. Being scared or being hurt or dying. Well, Do you want your children to have a future? Do you want your grandchildren to have a future? Because their future's going out the door, and so is yours. While you're busy turning your back, being scared of getting hurt or dying. Well, if people felt that way many, many, many years ago, we had already been locked up in slaves for eternity, and we already are slaves, and you don't even know it. You wouldn't even have the freedoms you have had that you're spoiled to. You wouldn't be coming home watching a television set, drinking a beer, and watching your football game. No, you wouldn't, because there'd be no football game. And you wouldn't be enjoying no beer because there'd be no beer. You really need to use your heads. The reason they're winning is because of being scared. Because you're scared. That's right, because you're scared. Well, I might get hurt. Well, I might get locked up and put in jail. Well, I might get killed even. Yeah, you might. That's correct, you might. But if enough of us stand up, the chances of that become slimmer and slimmer. Don't you understand that? The more of us that rise up together for good, for what's right, the less chance you have of being locked up or put in jail. Could you die? Yes, you could. But if you do nothing, you're going to die. That's what you don't get. You think you can just magically turn your back and look the other way and nothing's going to happen to you. Or that you can comply with them, bend over and take it and do as they say, and that nothing will happen to you. You know, that's what many, many, many millions of people thought in Russia, in Germany, and so on throughout history, that found themselves on the end of a gun being caught and killed. Because they don't care about your life. You need to understand, these people are psychopaths. They don't care about your life. They don't care if you live. Matter of fact, they don't want you to live. They have no need for you. You're useless. You're a waste of space. You're a waste of resources. You're a waste of food. You're a waste of everything. You're a complete waste to them. You're nothing but garbage to them. You need to understand that. That's not no lie. That's fact. You're nothing but garbage to them. And then you order followers and you shields all for the tool. You know what happens at the end of every time this repeats itself, history replays itself? Every time history's replayed itself, and it has over and over and over, and every time at the end of that run, the shields, the order followers who went along, who complied and went along because they were promised stuff and given lots of the tool money. They went along too. They did just like you shields. They did the exact same thing you're doing. Yeah. And at the end, they were the first to be exterminated by the very people who promised them they would be taken care of. Well, they was taken care of. They were the first ones to be caught and killed. That's right. And then for the rest of you people, yeah, a big percentage, a gigantic percentage will die. Men, women, and children. They will not discriminate, no. They will kill your little 5-year-old, your little 6-year-old, your little 7-year-old. They will kill your wives and your girlfriends. Not even blink an eye. And then they will kill you. They don't care. And they won't even blink an eye. They won't lose no sleep that night when they go to bed. Nope, they won't lose an ounce of sleep. They have no conscience. They have no morals. They outrightly, plainly don't care. See, so your choice is really pretty simple. You either grow the gonads to stand up together and fight back, or die a coward. So ask yourself this question. Are you a good person? Do you actually care about anything, including your own children? Do you really love your children? Do you? Do you really love your grandchildren? Do you really care if your children or your grandchildren have a living, have a life to live? Or are you just all worried about your own self? And you'll dispose of your children and your grandchildren and your husbands and your family mean nothing to you. Because if that's how you feel deep inside, then you're not a good person. And when you say you're a good person, you're a liar. See, because good people won't allow what's going on. Good people will get pissed off at what they're seeing going on in this world. When you watch what's going on just here in the U.S. alone, and you keep watching and seeing and watching and seeing and you do nothing about it, you keep turning your back, you believe whatever the television feeds you, you believe it cold-heartedly that whatever they tell you on the TV set must be the truth because you're God. The TV set told you so? Have you lost your minds? You know, Jerry and I want to put a list of real truthers. Not the truthers that call themselves the truthers, like Seeking the Truth, who's actually seeking your money. He's not about the truth. He's about his pocketbook. There's so many of you up here. We have on YouTube now, in 2017, half, if not more than half of YouTube is nothing but shills. Plants and shills. Making their money working through companies like Raytheon and Martin. There's a few of them. I can't even say all the names. Making their money doing what they're doing, and they're working against cybersecurity. They're working for cybersecurity. Security, that magic word again. And they're working for cybersecurity. And their job is to send you down the rabbit hole like Alex Jones. Their job is to follow the orders of the people that keep making history replay itself for their own selfish gain. And these are the people I told you about. They will be the first to die when it's all over with. Because the promises they've been told by the people they're following orders from are just like everything else, all lies. But they're not smart enough to figure that out. No. They think they're smart because they're making lots of the tool. But when it's all said and done, they'll find out they actually wasn't smart. They were actually pretty stupid. Pretty damn dumb. And when it comes right down to it, if you're afraid of getting hurt or going to jail or dying by fighting back, you've lost. Your children lost their future. Your grandchildren lost their future. And if you're up here on YouTube and you're actually an honest person, see, Jerry and I want to get a list of real truthers. Not fake truthers, real truthers. Somebody who's here from their heart, that does what they do to speak out from their heart. You're going to have to be willing to climb off your computer and leave your home. You're going to have to be willing to print up some flyers and go out and pass flyers out and tell people, show people what's going on. Because if you don't get out of your home to go do it on the streets, you're going to lose because the internet's controlled. because they have control of everything, including your internet. And when you're using the internet to climb up and make a video, if you can't make a video that's showing truth, actual real truth, not manipulate the truth, not pull up some news story from 10 years ago and play it like it's brand new news today and deceive everybody, you're not a truther when you do that. You're not going to be on that list. You don't belong on that list. And you won't be on it. We're after real truthers, people who really care. That are doing this from their heart because they care. Not for monetary gain. You don't have to monetize your videos. If you're monetizing your videos, you're not going to be on that list. If you want to make money because we need money to survive, well, then you can sell t-shirts, coffee cups, mugs, whatever. Figure out something that's legit that you can do. But when it comes to what I'm talking about, what you know is going on in this world, we have to rise up and we have to fight back. And we have to figure out ways to fight back, and we need to put our heads together and come up with different things that we can do, and we have to strive to do that and want to do that and do that from our heart, not for monetary gain, but from our heart. You can't ask for donations and expect to be trusted. I've never asked for one licking penny for everything and anything I've ever done. You know, I went out of my way and I spent my own money to have t-shirts made, to have ink pens made, printed up with TFL True Force Loneliness on them. I had hats made with TFL across the top. I spent quite a bit of money on that stuff. And anybody that wanted one sent me a spot to mail it to with a name. And I mailed them a free hat, a free t-shirt, and a free pin. And I even paid for the postage. They didn't pay one licking penny. And I done that from my heart because I wanted to. And I didn't charge anybody nothing. Every video I've ever made has been from my heart. Anything that I've ever done is from my heart because I care and I want what's right. Am I afraid that I'm going to die? No, not at all. Can they use a death threat against me to stop me from doing what I'm doing? No, not at all. Will never work because I'm not scared of that. I'm ready. I'm ready. No lie. I look around me and I see how dumb people become. I see how people are treating one another. I see how people can't even let go of differences. That they got to hold on to differences. They got to notice somebody's skin color. They got to notice somebody's gender. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's outright disgusting. And I see all of this going on. And then I see some real truthers up here that I know, a few actual real truthers that are doing this from their heart. And then unfortunately some of these real truthers that are doing this from their heart, they get a little bit of popularity. They get a little bit of fame. And it corrupts their mind. Now they was a good person. They was doing it for the right reason. And then they let the virus that attacks the human brain attack their brain. And what is that virus? Power and greed. See, when you notice your subs is growing and your head starts to swell and your ego becomes inflated and you think you're too good to talk to certain people and you're too good for that and you're too good for that. Because of this, you have the virus. And it's affected your brain. And you went from a good person to becoming part of the problem. You cannot be scared that you're going to die or you're going to get hurt. If we did not have the people who fought for the freedoms you have now in the past history, you would not have enjoyed the life you've enjoyed. And they went out and fought, and yeah, lots of them died so that you could enjoy the life you've had. You owe that same thing to your children and your grandchildren. You enjoyed the life you've had because of them. Well, you owe that same thing to your grandchildren and your children. So you better think about that. You do. And if you're too chicken to say, well, I'm not like them and I'm not going to do that, then you've lost. You will find your ass in a concentration camp along with your children, along with your grandchildren, and they will blow the top of your head off and drop you in a furnace and disintegrate your body or in a hole in the ground and not think twice. And the order followers will gladly follow their orders, just like you shills are doing up here on YouTube. They will be just like you. They will gladly follow their orders. They won't even think twice, and they will lose no sleep that night, or the night after, or the night after that. Won't mean nothing to them. So you better really seriously back up and think about what's going on here. And for all of you paid shills up here on YouTube, you know who you are, and you hate being caught out on it. You hate it with a passion. You might create your troll accounts for somebody who sees through your BS so that you can run over to your little troll account and troll them or flag them to get their videos taken down and laugh under your breath. You should be laughing under your breath when history's through, replaying itself again, because you will be the one with the gun to the back of your head. Oh, no, they won't do it to me because they promised me. Oh, you don't think they didn't promise them people too? And then them people too? And then people too? Each time they've replayed this shit in history, you're damn right they had their shills, who they promised, who helped them get where they're at. These people that are doing this, they're pulling these strings, these, well, I won't even say the name, just the powers to be is all I'll use. The people at the top, your daddies, your powers to be, they've always had to use other people to get where they're at. Always. And it's these people they use, which are tools. When they're through, they're the first ones they kill. Because they don't want to take a chance that their tools get enough people to realize what they've done and turn on them. So therefore they take the tools out so that they never have to worry about that. So for you shills who think you're funny, who think you're safe, who think you're indestructible, that is enjoying your good income that you're getting without even monetizing your videos because you're being paid to be here fighting the cyber war, cyber security for a company like Raytheon or others, and you're enjoying that money in your pocketbook, you can enjoy it all you want. Because when it's all said and done, you'll find the gun to the back of your head as history replays itself again. And for all of you other people, you real truthers, we want a list. Jerry and I want to put a list together of people who can absolutely 100% be trusted. That they're not lying to you. They're not going to manipulate you. They're not afraid to leave their house and pass out flyers and talk to people in public. They're not afraid to do boots on the ground and take their camera and go to the scene of an event and fire up their camera and start filming. They're not going to edit it. They're not going to manipulate it in any way at all. These are the people we want. People who can come up with ideas so that we can beat our heads together to find ways to fight back so that we can bring this stuff to a stop. Because if we don't do something, you're at a turning point. And if we don't do something, you're all going to lose. Every last one of you. You know, so I guess that's about all I'm going to say for now. But after last night's show, when I seen the comment, people are scared, people are afraid to die. I know this. But you didn't enjoy the freedom you got because of people before you was scared and afraid to die. A lot of people died giving you the life you've had for years now. And if you want your children to stand a chance to be able to work, be able to become somebody, to be able to have a job, or your grandchildren, and to be able to have a successful life and have a family, then you better stand up. You better start doing something. And that means us working together. And I don't care what race you are, where you're from. We're all human beings. You got to stop looking at skin color. You got to stop looking at somebody else's belief. Allow them their own belief. They're their own individual human being. Simply because you don't agree is not a reason to fight. That's not a reason to fight. Because a real grown-up don't fight with somebody who they don't agree upon something. Because you want to know something? There is nobody, and I mean nobody, that ever agrees with anybody 100% straight across the board. That's just a fact of life. And because you don't agree, so what? It means you move on to a different topic and you learn how to accept the fact that this person's this way, this person's that way, because we're all our own individual human beings. It means you grow up. It don't mean you go to blows with each other because somebody don't agree with your opinion. Because if you're going to try to force somebody to agree with what you're thinking, then you're no better than the Bushes. You're no better than the powers to be. You're just like them. You want them to be a dictator, ain't you? Why do you think I said nobody wears the pants in the family? Because when you say, no, I wear the pants in the family, no, she wears the pants, don't matter who you are. Don't matter what gender you are. When you claim that you're the one that wears the pants in the family, what you're saying is the person's with you is a slave. That is what you're saying. You're saying they are a slave to you, and you are a dictator. Anyhow, that's about all I gotta say.